Hello, hi, good evening to everybody who's joined us at Pran Foundation for the webinar today. We're just going to wait for a few minutes for our guest speaker to join us, and then we should start with our webinar today. So please stay tuned with us. Oh, hello, hi, Gautam, how are you? So till we wait for our guest to join us, let us see what some of us have to say. So yes, hello, everybody. Thank you so much. Hello, Bhavika, hi. Hello, Rajni, hi, how are you? Hello, Apurva. Hello, hi. Hello, Preeti. Hello, Neeti. How are you guys? It's really good to see so many of our first responders join in and such similar names. So, hello, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We're just going to wait for our guest speaker to come in. I'm good too, Preeti. Thank you so much for asking. Hello, Aditi. Hello, Miss Tinker. All right, so I think till our guest joins us, I'm just going to share something about why we're here and what we do at Prawns. So, Prawn Foundation was born off the intention of creating a positive impact in the field of mental health. Having laid its foundation through field research, Pran adopts a multi-dimensional approach to address the concerns in the current era of mental health. So far, we've conducted 60 plus outreach programs across Telangana and Andhra Pradesh. We're impacting more than 3,000 people, and we have about 13,000 plus active impressions on social media. We at PRAN principally believe in the concept of aware, educate, and empower, and have put together this webinar, Not All Talk, as an effort to meet all the three ends. So I think Shivani has something to ask, and let's see what Shivani has to say. After the session, after the session yesterday, okay, just a minute. I think we have our speaker. So Shivani has to say after the session yesterday, discussing about children. I'm looking forward to know more about kids and their reactions to stress. Yes, Shivani, we're extremely excited to also be speaking with you about children and stress. And thank you so much for attending our session yesterday. So we have with us Miss Nandita here. Hello, Nandita. How are you?
Hi, hello everybody. Hello, good evening. I'm fine, thank you.
Great. Thank you so much for joining us. So everybody, we have Miss Nandita Das with us here today, and I'm going to introduce her for all of us who've joined before we get into the session and speak about distress in kids. So Nandita Das has over 23 years of teaching experience as a special educator and a teacher in various reputed schools across the country. Ms. Nandita has achieved excellent results in managing students challenged for learning. She's skilled with flair and accuracy in identification of deficiencies and disabilities for learning, designing and execution of appropriate interventions, monitoring and closure in the best interest of the pupil, the institution, and the parents. She has been regularly trusted with responsibilities of student, academic, and behavioral counseling. Her counseling and behavior management expertise includes imparting life skills training and value education to students, behavior assessment, and evaluation behavioral interventions. Conducting orientations and awareness workshop for parents, teachers, and students on effective parenting, learning difficulties, life skills, child abuse, and adolescence education program. Um, I would also like to add that I have had the opportunity of working with Miss Nandita for over a year, and it's been a pleasure. And it's an equal amount of pleasure to have you join with us here today. So,
Thank you.
not wasting a lot of time, I would just like to tell you that before you joined in, I was speaking a little bit about PRAN, about what PRAN does, and the idea that we want to impact, in the area of mental health. To shed some more light on what we're doing, for the month of November, we have selected the topic stress in kids, especially during the pandemic. And all our sessions, all our webinars, and all our volunteer training programs are directed to identifying and supporting kids in distress. So let us begin if you're ready. All right, Miss Nandita. So we often see that kids do have a lot of stress nowadays. So what do you think are the most common signs of stress in kids? So we have our
Yeah.
volunteers who've joined us. They would love to know how you can identify stress in children.
You see, like stress, it's a feeling of being under too much mental and emotional pressure. This pressure turns into stress when we are unable to cope with it. So, and stress can be different in each child. Every child is unique, and every child may have different triggers of stress. So,
Right.
and it also affects us on how we feel, we think, and the way we behave accordingly. Now, coming to the signs of stress, there are many, but I'll come down to few of them. Like they show the signs of sleep disorder. Either they are sleeping too much, or they do not sleep, or sleep very less and always on the go. Sweating of palms, loss of
Okay.
appetite, difficulty concentrating in their studies and concentrating in any activity, whatever they are doing or they need to be doing. They feel irritated most of the time. The self esteem seems to be low, and thoughts constantly racing, which results in temper tantrums,
Okay.
anxiety, and
All right.
nervousness. They tend to self isolate themselves if they feel they're not able to deal with the issue or the feeling of too much of pressure or whatever it is. And then also physical aspect as headache, dizziness, and stomach pain. These are
All
few of
right.
the signs of stress which children go through.
Thank you so much for sharing with us the signs of stress. So, everybody who's joined us here, Nandita has just taken us through some signs of stress, which can kind of make us aware when to identify a child expressing or experiencing stress. So, like she was saying that there is sweating of palms, there are concentration issues, there are temper tantrums. So, there are definitely different signs that they show out, and these are usually very loud. What we need to do is just be able to assess and identify them, and we can really really like go and help these children. Now so like you were telling us that there are so many signs of stress, but could you also share with us what are the most common reasons or what are the most common causes why children are in such distress nowadays?
Yes, certainly. Feeling of stress is normally triggered by things happening in our life which involve being in lot of pressure, like facing
Mm-hmm.
big challenges. Challenges like going to a school for the first time, to a new school. Young adolescents
Okay.
take it very, very differently. They get into a lot of pressure. Change of home, change of places, constant worry about things which they need to be doing. They're constantly, we can see children constantly worrying about those aspects like writing the exams or meeting a deadline in a very short notice. Problems at home, which we often see there can be problems at home between the parents or anything that can get them into a stressful situation. Financial problem during the COVID time. I think this is the first thing which has come up. And children
Right.
may be getting through because since they are also at home, parents discussing the aspects all together, so they may also be getting into a lot of stress. And then
Yes.
parental pressure,
Oh,
parents
all
being
right.
judgmental. Yeah, causes of stress I'm talking about, no? So parental pressure also on the child since they're at home, the being judgmental, expecting too much from them, maybe doing the lot of household chores which they were not used to doing, or maybe nagging them most of the time. And then there's peer pressure at school,
Right.
bullying. Peer pressure means a lot to like associating with peers is means a lot to the young adolescent children, and the pressure of being in a particular group of students is a big pressure on children. And to do that, to get into those kind of association, they need to compromise on their thinking and adjust with the group, so that can be
Right.
a cause of this thing. And the bullying, having negative thoughts since the adolescents are growing up, there are many changes happening in and around their physical aspects, so they may not be liking something or maybe comparing it to their other peers also, so may not be liking their physical appearance, maybe the complexion, maybe the way like for boys it is bodybuilding which matters a lot, like why my muscles are not bigger, not as good as my other friends. So having those negative thoughts also can cause stress. Okay, and the
Right.
home environment, these are few things which I feel are most important.
I think not these few things, but I think up until now, we usually used to feel that, kids are the most stress-free people and, they don't take a lot of things to heart. But after what you have said, it's kind of for us to assess and analyze the fact that kids can feel stressed in many situations, right from
Exactly.
how they feel about themselves to how their peers look at them to how their parents deal with them. So the smallest of the things can cause stress in children, and it's actually quite it's actually quite an eye opener to understand from a specialist that there is so much that can affect a child. Before we go forward, I would like to add on that we have a small question mark tab on the right hand bottom side. So if anybody has any questions, you can write it to us there, and we'll see if time permits. We will answer the questions towards the end of the session. Otherwise, we do have another webinar coming up just to answer your questions. So please keep writing to us. So, moving ahead and trying to understand something that is currently affecting everybody, that is the pandemic. I mean, it has had an effect on you, it has had an effect on me, and it's had an effect on everybody around us. So, how do you think, or would you say that it has had a very different kind of an effect or any special effect on children?
Yes, certainly. It has led to immense physical and psychological pressure on kids. I would say their life is turned upside down with the introduction to online classes and in their inability to meet their friends and peers in school. Like how they used to go to school, they used to associate with their peer group, talk out their problems and come to terms with their own problems and release their extra energy and come back home. What now things are happening like they are into their online classes, and to the online classes also I would like to stress there are three types of there are children who are auditory, there are children who are visual, there are children who are kinesthetic. So
Right,
all of them cannot learn from the same method of teaching. So with the
yeah,
result, they must be having a lot of pressure regarding their fall of grades. So
right,
I'm very sure that there are many children whose grades have fallen in spite of being very intelligent because the method of teaching is different. So that
right.
would have impacted the had a very bad impact on student with their self confidence and other aspects. And then, as I earlier mentioned, adolescents need to be associated with their peers than their parents, so that is very important. Inability to channelize their energy, as I always said, and parents overall at home are extra vigilant and over indulgent on the children. This may lead to getting into a lot of stress. So
Right.
I
So I
would
think
say for parents, I would like to say that they need to be more empathetic towards the children.
yes, I think that's a really great message. So to all the parents who joined us here, and everybody who can speak to their parents or any parent of a child, please do pass on our message that it's really important to be excessively
Yes.
empathetic towards their kids. But, I mean, we were having a very similar discussion in one of our first responders huddles yesterday, where we were discussing about the concerns that children are facing, especially during the pandemic. And I would like to resonate to what you have said, because these people went out in the field and they spoke to children, probably in their house or in their neighborhood, and everything that you have said, that they have no way to channelize their energy. They do not have. I mean, they've been locked up. And the
Yes.
lockup is not only physical, like they're like in a mental cage, they're in an emotional cage, they're in a social cage, and that has definitely had a very, very negative and a very lasting impact on these children. So, what happens most of the times when children are stressed, even during the pandemic, this is something that we have seen, that they tend to throw a fit, or they act very moodily, or they tend to act up, or they throw a temper tantrum, like you were saying, that is one of the signs of being stressed. However, it so happens that when a child is doing this, we tend to regard them as being very naughty, right? So there is a misconception between a naughty kid and a kid who actually requires help and is shouting out for help through his behavior. So do you think that when a child is throwing a fit, or when a child is behaving very moodily, we should probably adopt different set of strategies to deal with these children?
Certainly. I feel it is the need that the parent should be able to identify if a certain behavior of the child is actually a cry for help and deal with it. And if need be, also take an expert advice to help the child. We should be able to view our children through emotional lens to develop understanding and skills to manage their emotions. This is where
Right.
I feel. This is what I feel.
Right. So we need to
So,
be, so I think, like, just like you were saying, we need to be more empathetic towards them. We need to be able
yes.
to understand what they're not only saying, but thinking, and probably be able to
Parents,
assess why they're behaving
yeah.
the way they're behaving.
And
Right.
parents
So
need to have those emotional lens. They need to be more emotional towards their children, which I stress upon again and again.
yes, I
Thank
think
you.
you also did it so many times that it definitely, I mean, I totally get it what you mean by, that emotionally they need to be present for their children. So,
Yeah.
Ms. Nandita, tell us that what do you think could be an impact on a child if, his signs of stress are ignored? If for a long period of time I am, showing these signs of stress and nobody is reaching out to me, or my parents are unable to understand why I'm behaving this way, what would you say would happen to the child if these signs of stress are ignored?
Yeah, again, it would be like I'll again come back to the mental and emotional impact of the child, and which results in anxiety disorder. May show the signs of being fidgety, biting nails, tapping feet, racing the heartbeat, feeling of helplessness, sense of impending doom, worry a lot about upcoming events, difficulty coping with everything, everyday this thing. And it also has effect on their cognitive functioning also. For example, they show the signs of confusion, difficulty in concentration, trouble of learning new things, problem of decision making, which is a big impact, and as in personality changes, the impact on their personality, they show aggressiveness, social withdrawal,
Right.
impulsivity.
Okay.
Impulsivity is very important aspect which needs to be tackled, because this can affect in a very wrong way to the child, because they may end up buying things which they don't need, or maybe gambling, maybe
Right.
self-destruction, maybe getting into drugs or any kind of thing, which these are the worst impact which a child can go through if stress is not dealt with on time.
So I think that's a very loud message that you're giving to everybody who's joined us here today, that if a child in stress is not dealt with, the repercussions are not only immediate, but these repercussions are lifelong, and they can have an impact for not a few years, but for a very, very, very long time, where there might be like very damaging changes to the personality of the kid, very damaging changes to the cognition of the kid. And I think we also have a comment of, I think Cancerian Love. What she's trying to say is that I agree, being open and ready to talk and accept the condition that children are experiencing is the need of the hour. And I think that's exactly how we would also summarize what we've been speaking till now. So thank you so much for
Yes.
sending that to us. So, till now we have spoken about what happens when a child, we've spoken about how can we identify a child who's in distress, how can we what are the causes, and what are the effects of it. Now for everybody who's joined us here today, most of us who've joined us here today are first responders. So first responders are basically mental health warriors who've been trained by the Pran Foundation, and they go out and they actually like identify and support individuals in distress. So I'm sure they would like to know that if they do identify a kid in stress, how should they approach them, and what is the best way that they can speak with them. So how do we speak with a kid in distress, Miss Nandita?
Yes, there is always a way to deal with stress and learn to manage it better by encouraging them to discuss their problem with somebody they trust. They cannot just go ahead and discuss their problems, issues with anybody, because that may culminate into different problems altogether. And then focus on what we can do than what we cannot do. That is very
Right.
important. And encourage the child to accept themselves as they are and identify their strengths, enhance their strength, than getting into the rat race of what others are doing, I also need to be doing the same thing. So everybody's capabilities are different, everybody is unique, every individual has their positives and their negatives. So enhance your positives, that is what is more important. So make them identify their positives and then go ahead. As parents, we can be available for the child by listening actively and respond thoughtfully. Being available to the child means not being only there at home and doing your own official work. During the pandemic, parents are always there, but they're not always there with the children. It is the confidence which child needs to gain through the behavior of the parents that the child can confide in them, go back to them with their problems. And only when they go back to them with their problems, parents need to listen to them actively. Leave everything and then listen. And do not interrupt only when the child is talking to you. And
Right.
never respond in the way in a negative manner for the child when the child is at least trusted you to a certain extent. So one needs to be
Right.
again empathetic towards the child. Parents. So
I
this is
like
what is the need of the
I
hour.
like how we like go round and round and we come back to the fact that empathy is essentially very important.
Very
Like
important.
I mean, I would just like to tell you that, like we're also like always talking about having a higher emotional quotient and, speaking to people, being available for people. And I think that the times of the pandemic have made this much, much, much more obvious that all you need to do is just be fully available for somebody. And I think that is something that you have also like been emphasizing on us on for us till now. So I would like to tell everybody who's joined us that being available for a person is almost equivalent to saving somebody's mental health. Just like,
Yes,
being there, it's that important, being there and being there fully for that person. So
yes,
just to add on to what Ms. Nandita was saying, so whenever we find somebody or a kid in distress, I think what really, of course, what really you have to do is be available for them fully and, not be dismissive of their concerns. Because I would also
yes,
like to add that at times, what might happen is that it might look like a very small deal to us. But for the child, I think that's their world. And since I have been dealing with children in my own capacity over the last few years, I think it's very important that we're not dismissive of them because it takes a lot of
exactly.
courage for the child to come up and open to you and speak about something that they feel so personally. And if they're
Very.
doing it and you're dismissive, then I don't think they're going to have that trust in any adult ever. So I think that is also one of the most important things. Now, we do know, Ms. Nandita, that definitely, therapy is still stigmatized to a great extent in the country, or actually not only in our country, but in many countries. Definitely, while it's coming up, and we're doing different things. There are different platforms. There are different places where we are speaking about it. The stigma is still held on to mental health and therapy. So, what would your comment be on taking kids to
Yeah.
therapy? Do you think it helps
Yeah,
the kids? Do you think it's like damaging? What would you say to that?
I feel it is appropriate to take the kids for therapy. Therapists can assess, identify, and help with the situation better. And according to the studies, nearly 1 in 8 young children struggle with anxiety and depression. So,
Wow.
there is a need for children to go to the therapist, and it is the need of the hour that the stigma attached to it need to be broken and taken help of the therapist without embarrassment. I think it is
Yeah.
the need of the hour.
Yeah,
Is
so I
it?
think the way a therapist can assess a child and understand the needs, or maybe,
Yeah.
break through the glass that maybe a parent is unable to do or somebody else is unable to do. I think that is something a therapist does. And
Yes.
I think to add on to what you're saying, the stigma needs to break if we want to help somebody. And
Very.
forget somebody, if we want to help our own child, the stigma definitely needs to break. We need to like break the shackles and go forward. So I think that's been a really, really interesting conversation with you, Miss Nandita. I would just want to say that most of the people who joined us here for our webinar today are first responders. So just to introduce who our first responders are. So at Tran Foundation, we have the first responder training program. And here we believe that we need to help every individual strengthen their emotional quotient, and our emotional first aid response training program is a step in that direction. So our first responders come from different walks of life. You're going to find doctors, you're going to find students, you're going to find psychology majors, you're going to find like people working like in MNCs, and you're going to find advocates. So what has happened here is in a very beautiful way, different people have come forward to become mental health warriors and to go and help people in distress. What happens is that in our first aid program, our emotional first aid program, we equip them with strategies to identify and support people in emotional distress. And for about a good time now, most of our volunteers or our first responders have been doing that. So I would want you to give out a message for all our first responders who are here today.
Yeah, I would thank Pran Foundation and first respondents for spreading awareness about about mental health, which is a need of the hour. And it is a great job which they all have taken up their arms and doing a great job. And I thank them from the whole of my heart, you know. And what I would like to tell them is like when they deal with kids, they please need to be watch out the language they use and the tone and speak age appropriate words along to the children. And I also want to suggest that if possible they could start a stress management group or class where we can help people identify the cause of stress and develop all the coping skills. This is a need
Right.
of the hour. So this is something which, if possible, could be, and I could also help in this. So I'm
Right.
always
Thank you
there.
so much for
Thank you so
suggesting that.
much.
Right.
Yeah.
So, to all the first responders, Nandita ma'am has just shared that, that she's really, really proud of everything that's happening and everything that the first responders are doing. In addition, I think she has just given us some tips about how to speak with children and, how it's important to really like reach out to these people because they're the most affected and the least noticed, is what I would say. So, right. So I think you were suggesting having a stress management group and, teaching them coping mechanisms and skills. And I'm sure we can connect about that
Yeah.
after the session is over. So if there are any questions from the group, we could probably take one or two. And then I think that's what it is from our end. Any
Thank
questions
you.
from any
Thank
of the
you.
attendees? Right. All right. So I think that it's just been so clear, and we have been able to like capture so many different segments, and we've been able to capture an array of everything that they would really like to know. So
Yeah.
on behalf of Pran Foundation, I would really, really, really like to thank you from the bottom of our heart for
Thank you,
being able to
Alice.
take out time, come and sit with us and speak with us about the importance of mental health and the importance of mental health in kids. So I think we have one question, and if time permits, would you please like to take it with us?
Yeah. How can we help children as emotional support to them? Kids might
Yeah.
not be able to open at very first. How can we help them? That's what I said. It's a very big challenge to bring the kids up to us. So we need to be empathetic towards them. That's what I stress upon. And then we need to give that confidence to the child to come to us, and that is being with them to come to us. For every child the method would be different. Each child is unique, and every child the method of reaching out to us is also different. So we have to be the person to be emotionally um, communicating with them in a very empathetic manner, and be present there and give them the confidence that I am there with you, so you can discuss your problems and come back to me. And it does take
Right.
time. It doesn't happen in a day or two. It does take time.
So
That's how
thank
it
you
can.
for that question. Yeah, I think thank you so much,
Based
Preeti,
on
for that question. I think it's all just about being available for the kids. And when they know that you're genuinely available for them, they're definitely going to be opening up
when
to
they
you.
to start,
We have one,
when they trust you. This is
yes, yeah,
another
you need to
question.
put it. Yes.
Yeah.
There's another question from Shreya. Shreya says, due to the lockdown, most children are bored and they are cranky sometimes. How do we help them deal with such moods?
When they're cranky, give them some space because generally they are at home. So we need to, as parents, we need to give them some space and then let them try out their own this thing hobbies which they love to do. Their most favored pastime, I would say. Let give them some time to do those or listen to music or some calming exercises or go for a walk or I won't say give them a long enough time to do play with the play the games or anything, but I would like them to give them some time limit to go through the social media also, because as
Right.
parents we do not allow them to get into the mobile or handle the mobile for a longer duration. That is a very good thing, but give them a stipulated time and do that, because all kind of knowledges are important for children also.
Right, right. I think,
That's
yeah, I think that's
that's not
very important.
probably there. To a certain extent, it is going to. Otherwise, each child is different. Their methods are different. So,
Right.
as
So I think also, like we are so used to engaging our children outside the house that now that we have to engage our children inside the house, it's only become that much more difficult because it's a new thing for us as well. So I think what we should probably do is find different ways of, having them engaged within the house, which I think is really important. So Preeti
okay,
says, thank you so much for your answer.
thank you,
I'm
thank
sorry.
you. No,
Right. And
it just came to me like parents can get involved with the child, which they don't
right.
like most of the time, but then they can give some time, get involved to the along with the child, play some games, or go for a long walk, or connect with the thing which is the need of the hour. So
Right, that
that's
is
how
absolutely true. All right. So with that, Ms. Nandita, thank you so much for connecting with us. We've spoken about children's stress in children, what could cause the stress. And, we also spoke about the stigma that is associated to taking them, to therapy and the importance of actually breaking the stigma and moving forward. You also have given us a beautiful message to all our first responders, and we promise to pass on your message to those who were not able to attend this session because of prior commitments. But thank you so much once again on behalf of Pran Foundation for joining us. For everybody who's attended the session, also the entire audience, thank you so much for being with us for the entire session. And what I would also want to add here is that we do have another webinar where we are going to be, addressing questions specific to stress in kids. So if you think that you haven't been able to ask a question on this forum, please DM us on our, on our page on Instagram, on Facebook, on LinkedIn, and Twitter. And what we're going to do is we're going to be taking questions and we're going to answer them in the next 2 weeks. We're going to be having it up all over our stories so you guys can really like connect with us and speak with us.
Alexa,
Thank you so
there's
much.
one question which had just come up.
Yes,
Just it says,
I'm going to read it for you. Yeah.
could we just
Rather than forcing yeah, I'm reading it for you. Rather than forcing and saying no directly, I guess we can give them options of activities and involve them with household chores. I think that's a good suggestion. It was a really good suggestion on stress management group. Thank you so much. Thank you, ma'am, and thank you, Pran, for this valuable session. It was very helpful. Thank you so much for attending
thank
it.
you
We're
so
greatly
much.
taking.
Bye.
Bye,
Thank
Nandita,
you.
ma'am. See you
Bye.
soon.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you for being here.
Bye.
Bye bye. See you.